The Oscars are soon upon us, so now we begin our analysis of the nominees. Here's a look at the category of Best Supporting Actor.
Well, the Best Supporting Actor category this year is both incredibly interesting and sort of boringly predictable. I mean, it's Heath Ledger's category. Obviously, it's his award to lose with everything that's happened to Heath, and also to The Dark Knight, because The Dark Knight was a movie I think a lot of people were expecting to get in for Best Picture. It didn't, and so if there was any doubt that Heath was going to win that award before, it was completely wiped out when the film wasn't nominated for Best Picture, because essentially this became the sort of touchstone that could absorb all the voter interest in this movie, and I think it would be a shock, and that would be an understatement, if Heath Ledger didn't win Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars this year.
It's not about money.
You have a couple of very interesting performances that have broken out. You have some people like Michael Shannon in Revolutionary Road, a movie that didn't really get a lot of attention, but his performance was such a standout in the film, kind of playing this sort of off-kilter. In fact, I think technically he was a former patient of a mental asylum in the movie, but kind of the Greek chorus of the story tells everybody in this repressed suburban environment what nobody else will say. And I think because he kind of does it with such verve and with such panache, a lot of people will remember his role and will remember his nomination, and I think it's going to set him up nicely in the years to come.
John, come have a look.
Ma, how about doing everybody a favor? How about shutting up?
One of the nominees has been here before many times, and that's Phillip Seymour Hoffman, of course, won for Capote as Best Actor. He's Best Supporting Actor here for his role in Doubt.
Well, I think it's an excellent idea to rethink the Christmas pageant.
I think what's interesting is that he's almost a victim of his own success in the category, because he's been so renowned as an actor. There isn't sort of the element of discovery I think people have, even with Michael Shannon or with Dev Patel, who is not nominated, but there's a certain kind of fatigue that people have with Hoffman, which is really only to his credit, because it means that so many people have adored and recognized his performance in the past.
An imbecile.
One of the other actors we've seen maybe sort of be a bit of a surprise in the category is Robert Downey Jr. You know, there was a lot of talk this year that the Oscars didn't recognize some bigger commercial movies, The Dark Knight most notably among them, and I think, you know, for his role in Tropic Thunder as this sort of over-the-top, very satiric man in blackface, that kind of performance and that kind of turn not only gets a lot of buzz in the blogosphere and among fans, but it apparently attracted voters' interest as well, and I think for many it's sort of a hopeful sign that someone of Robert Downey Jr.'s chops, even in a role that's not seen as sort of a classic awards category movie, still is able to get enough attention to land him on the short list.
I'm not going to be forced out of San Francisco by social deviants. And
we also have Josh Brolin's performance in Milk this year in the supporting actor category, and I think what's interesting about Brolin is that he really had two kind of tour de force performances, playing historical figures in both, first of course as a leading actor in W, playing George W. Bush, a role that I think is both kind of stacked for and against him. On the one hand, you're playing a real person, so there's sort of the potential to mimic, and I think people can see acting in that a little bit more easily. On the other hand, I think there was a lot of George Bush fatigue, and I think that worked against him. So what sort of happened is a lot of the interest that maybe he would have gotten for that movie went into his Milk role, which he plays Superintendent Dan White, kind of a very meaty role in its own right. He's excellent in the film,